30 minutes of class. My name is Dara. We are going to do a nice standing yoga warm up really quickly, and then we're going to get into some core work on the mat. A little sequence of 3 moves, and we're going to stretch, be done, 30 minutes. Subscribe to the channel for notifications of class. I host a live class every week. I'm a physical therapist, a strength coach, a yogi, endurance athlete. A lot of what I do is catered to my runners and my cyclists. So if that is you, check out some of my other workouts and videos on my channel. Weights are optional. So if you've got weights, it's a 10-pounder, something light, you might want to add it in. Not necessary, but optional. We're going to start off in standing, a nice little yoga warm up, super simple. And then we're going to take it down onto the mat, get into that core work, some advanced moves. I will show you options. Stretch, done. That's it. Let's get started. Reach to the sky. Let's just do a nice little yoga warm up. So I'm going to go through a nice Sun Salutation A yoga series just to get things moving, right? Just to limber up, get some mobility. Again, key, we want some strength, but we also want some flexibility, some mobility. We want everything moving nicely up and down the chain. Reach, inhale to the sky. And then on your exhale, take a forward fold, bring the arms all the way down. Knees are nice and soft. Hang out here, just using this first round nice and slow, just to check in with our bodies, just kind of see how everything's moving. Where's everything feeling? How's my back? How's my hips? Stretch it out. Knees are soft. Take one more breath here. And then on your next inhale, halfway lift, flat back, straighten out your knees. Get a nice stretch in those hamstrings. Again, I love yoga. You don't need to be super flexible to appreciate some of the benefits of yoga, right? Take what we want, get a little bit of nice mobility from it. Hold here, one breath, brace with your abs. Bring your hands down, step back into plank. We do have a few planks today. Again, modify as needed. Listen to your body. This class is for you. I am just the guide. Hold it here, tuck the chin in, brace with your abs. Hold for one breath. And then on your exhale, bring your knees down, slowly lower, elbows close to your sides, uncurl your toes, finishing up our first sequence, little baby cobra. Pull the shoulder blades down your back, retract those shoulder blades, engage your lats, hold it here. Nice extension, one breath. And then exhale back down. Uncurl your toes, push yourself back, downward facing dog. Pedal the feet, drive your hips up high to the sky. I'm trying to flatten out my upper back. I'm gonna pedal those feet out, give my calf, my ankles a nice little stretch. I really do like downward dog. It's a nice way to get into the calf and the ankles and just get some nice mobility, flexibility. I'm still using my shoulders. I'm getting some nice strength here. Engaging again, keeping my abs engaged as well. Pedal the feet. Let's go through this whole sequence 2 more times. Walk your hands back to your feet, rolling up one vertebrae at a time. Articulate through your spine. Get that movement. Inhale, reach to the sky, speeding up. Lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Bring the arms all the way down. Sun Salutation A. Hanging here, knees are soft. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. This just should feel nice. Getting things warmed up. Hip hinge, and then bring your hands down, step back into plank, tall plank, spreading my fingers wide, giving me a nice base of support here, strong shoulders, I'm not collapsing, pushing away one breath, and then exhale, either knees down or all the way down, chaturanga, elbows close to my sides, work on those shoulders, uncurl your toes, push yourself up into cobra or upward dog. This is a great way to get some extension in the spine, right? We're flexed, we're hunched over things all day. Let's enjoy a little bit of this extension. Hold it here. You can keep it lower if that feels better. One breath. Again, my abs are a little bit engaged. Hold. And then exhale back down. Downward facing dog. We've got one more round. And then we're moving on. Pedal the feet. Nice and easy warm up, nothing crazy, just getting us warmed up before we get into that core series of 3 moves next. Pedal, pedal, pedal. Walk the hands back. Last time through, we're moving on after this. Inhale, reach to the sky. Lengthen through that spine. Get some length, tall spine. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Bring the arms all the way down. Knees are soft. Hang out here. Release any tension. Shake it out. One breath, halfway lift. Flat back, get that nice stretch here. Hip hinge. Hands come down. Step back into plank. Tall plank, strong shoulders, strong core. Tuck the chin. Hold one breath. Last time here, exhale, slowly lower. We are about to move on, up dog or cobra stretch, extending the spine. This should feel nice. Hold it for one breath. And then exhale back down. Downward facing dog. Let's just hang out in our downward dog. We're gonna move on. So I want you to get into your downward dog and I want you to lengthen that a little bit. Get a little bit longer in your downward dog because I want to finish in plank. So we're going to come into our downward dog. Let the heels drop. If you're like me, you got tight little calves, tight little ankles. Your heels may not touch the ground. That's okay. We're getting a nice stretch out of this. Last breath here. If you need to double up your mat to give your wrists a little bit of support, that's always an option as well. Or take breaks, right? You guys can take breaks whenever you need to. Come into plank and then rock yourself back. And then come into plank. And then exhale it back into downward dog. We're going to add on if you want. So if you want, you can bring that left hand to that opposite shin, adding in a little bit of oblique work and cross. So I go plank, and then I reach to that opposing shin and reach. We do have some oblique work coming up in that series of 3 core moves. That is the meat of this workout. Getting things a little bit warmed up right now. Shoulders, core, obliques, rotate. We're going to do a few more here. Rotate. Last few. 4 more like this. Twist. 3, 2, 1 more. We're going to come back up into standing. We've got some squats to finish up our warm-up. If you have weights, now is your chance. This is optional. I'm going to show you a couple of options. So if you've got a weight or 2 weights and you want to just take some time to do some basic squats, this is your chance, right? So for those of us without the weights, I'll show you an alternative just to make it a little bit more dynamic. If you've got 1 weight, I like to have the weight right at my heart center for that goblet squat, and then I'm sinking back, just imagining like I'm sitting back onto this sofa, right? So I'm going to sit my hips back. I'm going to start with a nice wide stance. Again, taking that nice, a little bit wider than hip distance. So if I've got those tight hips, that's going to give me just more room, right? So this is option 1. Now, if you've got the light weights, you can start with your goblet squat. Again, that's your option. You got 2 weights at your sides. If you don't have the weights, I want you to come into chair pose here. And let's make it a little dynamic. Now, if you don't have the weights, so starting in with your squats, we're doing a long set here. Now, if you don't have the weights, I want you to focus, really sinking deep into that squat or chair pose. Come down into your squat, and then I want you to add on opposing knee crunch. So if you don't have the weights, let's make it a little bit more challenging with just a little bit of core and a little bit of balance. So I'm going to come down, knee up. Sink, knee. So again, we got to work with what we got. If we've got weights, sure, let's add them in to a nice squat, which is basically your chair pose, that back squat, bracing with my abs, chest is pulled back. And if I don't have the weights, you can always just do a basic air squat, but let's just add a little bit of spice to it, right? So I'm going to add that squat, pull that knee up, add that squat, pull that knee up. Again, getting a little bit of hip strength, a little bit of core strength, a little bit of that single leg strength. Let's do a few more here, and then we're basically done with our warm-up. That's it. 4 more, just like this. 3, 2, last one. Take it down onto the mat. If you have those weights, we are going to use them optional for our first move. If not, it's all good. I'll show you alternatives. So finishing up our warm-up, let's just do a little bit of cat-cow. Here. And up. Just articulating through that whole spine. Get that spine moving, right? We need a strong core, but we also want a supple spine. We want our joints supple, mobility, right? Not just strength. I like adding in a little bit of the stretching and core work and yoga, kind of as I get into some of my more advanced core moves, because this is our opportunity to get some of the supplemental things, right? So a little bit of that core strength. We're not lifting heavy. We're not doing anything super intense, but then we can also get a little bit of stretching, a little bit of mobility, which a lot of people are lacking in their routine. Last one here. And then we're going to come into seated. So our first move is a Russian twist. And optional weights, you don't need the weights. If you've got the weights, again, got a 10-pounder here. My first thing, if you don't have weights, that's okay. Sitting up nice and tall, this is our first move in our series. Oblique work, sitting up nice and tall, finding that little sit bone. I like to have the hands here, pull myself back, squeeze my shoulder blades, engage my lats, chest is open, proud chest here, and then I'm gonna add that twist. And if you've got the weights, add them in. This first round is gonna be kind of long, so let's get into a little bit of endurance for our core. If you don't have the weights, you can also elevate the legs, right? Adding a little bit of balance, challenge here. I want you to focus on, for this first round, some nice rotation, right? So really getting that rotation in that upper back, that thoracic spine. Twist, twist, twist. If you've got the weights, really aim to really rotate them across your body. So we've got obliques. We've got some deep lower abdominal work. And then we've just got kind of a very similar hold at the end, right? So we're getting into a little bit of some of that deeper core work today. Advanced, I will show options though, but we're starting off with that Russian twist. Keep it going. 3 rounds, 3 moves. That's the workout. Checking out other classes, I always kind of add this little circuit in the middle, different exercises each class. So check those out under the core class playlist if you need more ideas. Let's do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. On your back, legs flutter up and down, lower abdominals. This is advanced. I'm going to show you some options. So again, arms at my sides. I'm thinking about on the exhale, I'm pressing my lower back down. So there's no space here. So I want you to focus on this first. This is the connection. This is your starting point. My legs start up, they flutter, and then they come back up. Now again, starting in with these flutter kicks, I'm going to move myself back just a little bit. I want you to think about, as you flutter your legs here, that as you get the legs lower, that the lower back is staying pressed down. And if you're not sure that that's happening, lift your head up. That will help. So I'm kicking, legs up, and then down, and up, and down. You determine the lower you go, the harder it's going to be, right? So as the legs get lower, if this feels really challenging, keep them up high, right? Don't go as low. I want you to also think about, a lot of times for this move in particular, a lot of people just feel it like in the front, like the hip flexors, with like, oh, my hip's always snapping, right? So if that's you, not a bad thing necessarily. It may just mean that you're tight here, but I want you to really actively think about bracing with your abs, creating even more ab engagement to overcome those hip flexors from working. Right? So sometimes it actually takes a little bit of just thinking about that and pressing down even more with your abs to take over, right? So that the hip flexors aren't gripping so much. So that's that brain connection. Let's do 4 more here. All the way down. 3 more. Keep that lower back pressed down. 2 more. And then last one. And rest, knees bent at 90. This is our bird dog. This is our dead bug, bird dog, kind of opposing movements. I want you to focus on that same position with that lower back pressed down. Lift the legs up. Your level 1 is here. This is your marching. We're not even adding the arms. Your level 2 is here. Arms and legs. Level 3, extension. So I'm having my arms and legs extended all the way. So whichever version you're doing, I want you to focus on for this last move here. Pressing that lower back down as my legs get away from me I'm maintaining that lower back press down. We're going to change this last move for each round. So this first round, we're just going to do our basic dead bug, dying bug, and then we'll change it for our second and our third round. Pressing that lower back down. Again, if you're not sure that you're doing it correctly, lift your head up. It's going to kind of help to bring the rib cage down and depressing the rib cage and maintaining that ab control and contraction, and then keeping that lower back pressed down. That's the goal, right? As my legs get away from me, just like in that last move we did, I need my lower back to stay planted. I need my rib cage, my pelvis connected, right? So that's the center. That's that stability and strength in my center. Let's do a few more, and then we'll come back into that Russian twist round 2. We've got 3 rounds total, 3 moves. We're going to stretch, be done. That's class for today. 4, tap 3 more, tap 2 more, last one. Rock yourself back up into seated, Russian twist, V twist, whatever you want to do. If you've got your weights, add them in, sitting up nice and tall first. I'm not here. I'm here, engaged back. And then I add that core and that rotational movement in. I'm really aiming for some nice rotation, right? This is a good chance to also work on that mobility in that upper back or that mid back, that thoracic spine. We really want to get everything. So with our core work, I like the holds, right? We're going to finish with a little bit of a hold, a static movement, but you also need that dynamic movement as well, right? Our core needs to keep us stable and strong as we sit on a bike or run, right? So or pick up heavy bags or lifting things up. So we need that static strength, but we also need to be able to be stable and strong as we're moving, running, whatever. Especially for my athletes, my endurance athletes. Stay focused, stay attentive, stay present with these moves. Where am I working? What am I working on here? My obliques, primary. Let's do a few more. And then we'll do those fluttering the legs up and down as our next move. 4 more here. 3, 2, 1. Come onto your back, fluttering those legs up and down. Round 2, again, you decide how low you want to go with this, right? So if you want to just kind of keep it up high here, so you can keep a little bit more control, totally fine. If you want to do a little bit different with the legs, a little bit of like scissor or flutter, up to you. I like the little flutter. Kind of gets my legs going a little bit. And again, elevating that head is definitely going to help, right? Because as you lift up, it's going to help you get into that crunch, right? So you can kind of keep that connection. It's really the connection from the pelvis to the rib cage is what we're after. So I really suggest, especially if you're starting to fatigue or if you're not sure, you really have that lower back press down, lift your head up. You can have your hands holding your head, whatever, right? You've got those options. Let's do a few more here. And then we've got that dying bug. We're going to change that this round. Few more. 3, 2, and 1. Rest. Shake the legs out. Instead of our dying bugs, let's do a reverse crunch and lower the legs. So again, pressing that lower back down, legs are up, reverse crunch and tap. So changing that dead bug. If you have a weight, I would suggest, if you want to add even more challenge, hold the weight here and lower. Right? I'm always trying to sneak in a little bit of upper body when I can. So for here, I'm just holding that weight overhead, adding a little bit more work to that upper body. Exhale, squeeze, lift the legs up. Lift the legs up. That's that lower abdominal work. Lift and tap. Lift and tap. Let's do a few more here. And then we've got our last round, right? Last move, we're kind of changing it around a little bit, spicing it up. Again, weight is optional. Let's do a few more here. Squeeze lift. For 4, for 3, for 2, 1. Last time for this sequence. Third round, sitting up nice and tall, rush and twist. Find that position, sitting up tall here, bracing, adding the weights in if you've got them. Last time through. We'll finish off this class with a little bit of stretching, a little bit of cool down. So let's get through this last round of our core work. And that will be it for today. 30 minutes. You can get a lot done in 30 minutes, right? 30 minutes is plenty. Plenty of time for a lot of core work, some mobility, stretching, breath work. Keep rotating. Let's keep it going here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring those weights to your sides, fluttering the legs up and down. Last time, stay focused here. Bracing, legs flutter. Back up, flutter. Again, you decide how low you want to get. As you get lower, keep that lower back pressed down. Don't lose the form, right? That's key. Here, that stability here. No space here. Lower and back up. Lower. Stay focused. Press that lower back down. Engage those abs. Really engage. Deep abdominal work. Let's do 10. Back up. 9. Back up. 8. 7. Finish strong. 6. Fast, 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 fast. 5. Changing the tempo a little bit faster. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Relax. Whew. Last one is just going to be a crunch. You have options for the crunch. If you've got the weights and you want to add them in to this crunch, you can press up here. If you don't, that's okay. You don't need them. We're just doing that press up, crunch, crunch, crunch. Again, weights are always optional in this class. I love to sneak in a little bit of weights with my core work because it is a great way to get in a little bit more upper body strength, which many of my athletes, many of my endurance athletes, my runners, my cyclists, and just people in general are probably not getting enough. Especially as we get older, we lose a lot of muscle mass. You need those weights. That is everybody. Again, just a basic crunch. If you don't have the weights, totally fine, right? Any other version you want to do, that's totally fine as well. Let's finish up. 10, 9, 8, 7. Exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop the weights. We are done with them. Hug the knees into your chest. We're going to start to cool it down, taking a little bit of time just to get into some nice stretching, a little bit of mobility for the hips, for the back. Just starting to slow it down, rocking the knees side to side. Give your lower back a nice little massage here. Let that left leg extend long on the mat. Stretch out, let it go. Let's roll the ankles and the toes around, get nice little circles here. Getting those feet active, moving all those joints in the toes and the feet and the ankles, keeping those feet healthy, happy. Roll the hip around, little circles both ways, getting into that big hip joint, big, big, big hip joint. Those hips need to move. If the hips are not moving, often we are driving a lot of stress into the knees or the lower back. So we want those hips supple. Let's finish this right side. Let's do a little bit of a hamstring active stretch. Grab behind the thigh, behind the knee, and then I want you to actively flex and extend that right leg. This is a really nice way to get into a little bit of a hamstring stretch actively. Also a little bit of a sciatic nerve glide. I give this to a lot of patients, a lot of clients, but it's also just a great hamstring stretch. The goal, you're trying to straighten that knee and then bend. Straighten, actively stretching that hamstring and then relax. Let's do a few more here. 2 more just like this. Flex. 1 more. And then bring that knee across your body. Left hand brings that knee all the way across. Open that right arm out at an angle. Just getting into that side, that glute, that right hip, IT bend, lower back. If you're rotating more off the mat like this, getting a little bit more into that lumbar spine, if that feels good. Again, you have options. The knee angle is also going to determine where you're feeling more of that stretch. Listen to your body, right? Everyone's going to kind of look different in this position, right? So this lumbar rotation stretch, you may be here, I may be here, that's okay. Head is relaxed, shake it out, release any tension. Any other stretches that you want to do that just feel right, now's your chance. We're almost done with class, get them in. On your next breath, come back to center. Let's do our figure 4 stretch, and then we'll do the same thing the other side. Again, your figure 4 can just be here, or you can reach through for thread the needle. So a little bit deeper into this thread the needle. And again, I'm just relaxing. I'm leaning into that nice hip opener on the right side, stretching those glutes, rolling the shoulders, releasing any tension here, maybe shaking the head side to side, releasing any tension, rolling the ankles and the toes around, just kind of sitting in this position, just seeing what I feel. Take your last few breaths here, and then we'll switch to that other side. Again, this class is for you. I'm just the guide. I'm just giving you some ideas, some options, some movements that tend to feel really nice and kind of tick all the boxes, but you always want to modify based on what feels right for your body. Unwrap that right leg, shake it out, release any tension, hug that left knee in, rolling the ankles and the toes around, getting everything moving, rolling that hip around, just seeing how that's all feeling. Last time. And then we'll do that little hamstring stretch on the left side. Grabbing behind the thigh here, active flex and point. Everyone's got a tighter side, right? So we all have these natural asymmetries. I always tell my patients, that is normal. As humans, we are not built symmetrically. We are not robots. We are humans. So everyone's going to have a little bit of a tighter side, right? So just lean into that. If you notice that, that might be something to work on, right? We're never going for perfection or perfect symmetry, but if you really notice, oh yeah, my left hip, or when I do this one, it's so much tighter. This is your opportunity to work on that, to really focus on where you feel those little things in your body, because you're going to be different than I am, right? So if this is your tighter side, maybe you lean into that a little bit more. Maybe you have a stronger leg. Maybe you do a little bit more on that other side, whatever, right? Last one here. Let's do one more. Flex. And then again, I'm going to bring that knee across my body, finding that angle on me that just feels right. If I want to get into those hips, if I want to just get into the hips, I'm going to stay more flat onto the mat. If I want to get more into that lumbar spine, that lower back, I'm going to rotate, pivot off the mat more so I can get here. Right? Opening that left arm out. Opening up the chest, the rib cage, the shoulders, head goes wherever it feels comfortable. We are almost done with class. That is it for today. We've only really got 2 moves left. Really settle into the stretch. Just feel that stretch. Maybe play around with that knee angle. Maybe go higher, maybe go lower. Just find what feels right for you. Head can go wherever it feels comfortable. And then come back to center, figure 4 stretch. We are almost done. Reaching through for thread the needle. We've really only got our finishing seated move last, and then that's it for today. Subscribe to the channel if you want to get notifications of live class. I host a live class every week. You can check the core class playlist for some other spicy ab work. I have a bunch of short little core exercises. I love adding the kettlebells in. Tons of ideas to add some diversity to your core routine, or just pep it up, or just progress, or just get some ideas. Last breath here. Roll those shoulders out. Release all that tension. And then when you're ready, unwrap that left leg, windshield wiper the knees side to side. We're going to finish in seated. Roll to your side. Prop yourself up into seated sitting, however is comfortable for you. I want to just finish with this nice tall spine, working on that posture, just so we start class and we end class with this focus, this attention, finding that center, finding that alignment, finding that length in our spine, sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, reach to the sky. Exhale it out. One more time, and then that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for coming. Inhale, reach, get tall, lengthen. And then exhale it out. Thank you guys. My name is Dara. I will see you guys next time. I hope you got something good out of class. Until next time, you guys. See you later.